We are going to talk all about commitment today. So, Katie and I have just found that in talking to a lot of you on our coaching calls and stuff, we have had this topic come up. And so we wanted to go back a little bit to the basics of some information that is in the welcome pack that you may not have like really looked at yet, or maybe you did a long time ago if you've been in the program for a minute. But basically it's the concept of willpower not working, right? We know, those of you who have been doing this long enough know that you cannot leave your destiny and your success in the hands of willpower, because it's not going to work. So you've got to make a plan and follow your plan and be committed to your plan, right? So Katie put in the coach's corner a little clip that I'll let you explain that in just a minute, Katie, but it was from the book Willpower Doesn't Work, and just kind of talked about the concept of commitment and really focusing in on why you're doing what you're doing and going all into that commitment, right? And I was just talking to a client on the phone about different levels of commitment at different stages in our journey. So we don't always have to commit to, Katie, I'm going to use you as an example. Katie has been in a really great zone and done so many like habit contracts of just 100% commitment. But her mindset, she's been working on her mindset around this for a lot of years, actually, now at this point, right? And so it's easier for her to just quickly commit to that and say, okay, this is my contract. This is what I'm going to do. I'm committing to that. But someone who's just barely starting their journey, that may be 100% overwhelming to them. I've actually had a client not work with me because when I talked to her about what she was going to be doing in the program, it like freaked her out. And she was like, I can't do that. Well, then yesterday I just got a message from her saying that she went and did a different challenge group that wasn't as, intensive, or so she thought. And she lost 8 pounds and she thought it was great. And so it was funny because I said to her, well, you didn't really give me enough time to explain to you how this works, because like this is what's laid out in the 5 stars, all of my clients know that we work at your level and we commit to certain things, and then you grow within the program, right? And we work from week to week. So anyway, I say all of that because I think it's important that you guys recognize where you're at in your ability to commit. And just because you can't commit to like all or nothing doesn't mean you just throw it out the window and don't commit to anything, right? We can commit to doing something each day. And so I like that because it's important to make a plan and follow the plan and not be, driven by our emotions, because we know that our emotions are going to fluctuate numerous times during the day. And it's not healthy for us mentally or physically to be flowing in the wind with all of the different emotions that are coming through us, right? Because emotions are energy in motion. We're going to have so many different energies going through us every single day that if you just wake up and have zero plan for yourself and just say, I'm just going to kind of see how I feel today, like most of us just are going to want to literally lay on the couch and eat a bowl of ice cream. And like, of course, that would be great, right? We have no responsibility. We don't have to do anything. We just binge Netflix all day. And like, that feels good for a minute, right? But do you know what feels better? Having a plan and sticking to the plan and being really proud of yourself at the end of the day when you go to bed, that you showed up for yourself, right? That you set a goal and you reach that goal at the end of the day, and then your self-confidence builds. And you guys have all seen that, right? Your self-confidence slowly improves, and then you can set maybe a little further reaching commitment than you did before. So that was potentially a long explanation, but Katie, I want you to talk about this little clip. And I just listened to it again yesterday. I love that Katie makes these clips. They're super helpful. So can you just kind of share the basics of it if
Yeah.
these guys didn't listen yet?
Yeah, there's always a story behind these clips that I share. So I had a client reach out, and she's dropped, I don't know, about between 45 50 pounds, super close to her right size body. It's actually Scarlett. She gave me permission to share. And she's last momentum call, she shared her success story. So anyway, she sent me a message on Slack, and she just said, hey, my wedding ring isn't fitting anymore. What did you do? What do you think I should do? And I said, burn the boats. Burn the boats and get your wedding ring resized. And if you have clothes in your closet that don't fit, donate them. Like, move forward. Point of no return. So I'm like, where did that burn the boats concept come from? I knew it was in Willpower Doesn't Work. Couldn't find it right away. So then I Google. There's quite a few stories throughout time where this has happened in history, where the leader of a military group, or in this situation, it was like a missionary group because they were spreading the message of Allah. Anyway, they were on their little voyage. They get to shore, and the leader of this particular group, I'm just going to share the story that's from Willpower Doesn't Work, and I'm not going to use all the names because I can't pronounce them. But anyway, the leader got to shore, and he said, okay, burn the boats. We either share the message of Allah or we die. Like, these people will either kill us or they're going to accept our message and will become, so we're either going to be martyrs or they're going to accept our message. So there's no turning back. So Benjamin Hardy, he's an organizational psychologist, and he did his research, like his final research on what gets someone to be 100% committed. And there's like 5 things, and we actually included them in our orientation ebook. And I can pull that up, Brittany, if we want, for reference.
Yeah, I was just finding it here in our message.
Okay. Because I can do the share screen. Are you on your home computer? What's easiest?
Yeah. I don't have it. I have it on my phone. I was just going to talk about it.
Okay, we can do that. The different points, talk about the different points.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really good segue. You know, he builds up, okay, what are those 5 things? Like, what did you find out in order to be totally committed? And we've built those into our program to become committed, because when you make the decision and you become committed, then you get rid of that mind chatter that goes on. Like, not only the, should I eat the cookie? Should I not eat the cookie? Should I eat the roll? Should I not eat the roll? When you've made that decision, then that energy isn't sucked up in the decision fatigue going on in your brain. You can actually put that energy and focus into moving forward and having a solution on how to make your commitment work. So that's the beauty of it. Anyway, if you want to go through those 5 points on how to become committed, I can share my insight.
We've talked before that 100% is easier than 98%. And you guys have probably felt that, you know, when you're committed to something, you don't have to make that decision, like Katie was just saying. So, okay. So when it comes to achieving goals, commitment involves this: investing up front. Okay. Having a little skin in the game, so that, I mean, that does increase commitment, right? When you have invested up front. Maybe making it public, or at least sharing with those closest to you. So we've talked about this. When you first start your health journey, you sit down and have a conversation with your spouse. Hey, this is what I'm doing. It's very important to me. I would love if you could support me in these ways, right? Or if you're comfortable, you post about it and you tell all the people that this is what you're doing, and they kind of help hold you accountable. Now, we as 5-Starr hold you accountable, right? So you're telling the coach, you're telling the people in our Tell the Right Story Slack channel what you're doing. Like, that is the reason why we do that, is because it does increase accountability and help you be more successful. You set a timeline, right? So we have timelines. We obviously run 12-week phases, but with my clients, I'm always giving mini 1-week goals. Okay, for this week, this is what your goal is going to be. This is what we're going to focus on, right? Priscilla talked about this a little bit, like she was going to Nashville, and so we were like, okay, from now until when you go to Nashville, this is where we're at, right? This is what we're committing to. So it's good to have a timeline. And you can have a longer timeline and then have little shorter timelines in between, right? As you need to. One quick story, Katie, if you're okay. The other day, my friend, she had some skin issues. And so I was telling her that she should she should probably go off sugar to see if that would help her skin clear up, right? Because sugar is inflammatory, as we know this. So at the gym, she says to me, okay, so I've decided to go off sugar, caffeine, protein, because it might be my protein powder, and eggs. And I was like, I do not think that that's a good idea, because this girl relies on sugar, caffeine, protein, and eggs. So if you take away sugar, that's a big deal, right? But then you also take away caffeine, and then you take away her protein shake that she enjoys, and eggs, which are like part of every single meal. So I was just telling her, like, yes, eventually we want to test all these things and see if that's why you have skin issues. But maybe what let's do is, like, I want you to go off just sugar for 3 days. Okay. And then I want you to get like used to not having sugar for 3 days. And then we're going to take away your caffeine, like for the rest of the week. So then for the full week, we're going to be off sugar and caffeine. Right. And then we can tackle protein and eggs. But like, I think sometimes, I don't know, you have to take the individual into account. So set a timeline. So not everything has to be for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to do this. If that's scary to you, then just 3 days. For the next 3 days, I'm not going to have sugar. And then you can do 3 more days, and then do 3 more days, right? Don't you agree, Katie? Sometimes you have to like set a shorter goal. Like you're still doing the same thing. It's just like 12 weeks maybe sounds more intimidating to you than 3 days, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's awesome that you focused on sugar, because we know that as a human species, like that's inflammatory to every single person. So you
Right.
started with something that we should all be addressing before you move to the others.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but then the timeline for sure, like process of elimination. If you do it all at once, especially in this situation, she'd be like laid out on the couch for like
right,
a
and
week.
not functioning. And she does have more of a binge personality. So then she's going to just like say, oh, screw it, I can't do this, and just binge. You know what I mean? So it's good to take into account your personality, right? And that's why as coaches, we have conversations with you of like, okay, what do you think is going to work for you? Let's set you up for success, right? I love these things because it truly is setting you up for success. And we don't want to just throw you in the ring and have you fail from the very beginning. It's better to have like shorter timelines if that's what you need, right? Installing several forms of feedback and accountability. This is why 5 Starr is the way that it is. We have a lot of ways for you to report in and to be held accountable. And then remove or alter everything in your environment that opposes your commitment. So we've talked a lot about setting our environment up so that we can be successful. And I would love to have, any of you guys share, what have you changed in your environment since beginning your health journey that's made it easier for you to be successful and to stick to your commitments? Do you guys have anything specific? While you're thinking, I'll share one thing. I went into one of my clients' homes, and she had the first week I went, on her table were like a bunch of snacks, like not healthy snacks, right? And then after we had a conversation, I went in a couple weeks later, and in that same spot was like apples and oranges and bananas. And I was like, yes, I love this so much. And she was telling me that even her kids had adjusted, right? To like picking those snacks instead of the other things that were on the counter. So even something as simple as that makes a big difference. Do you guys have any thoughts about how your environment has changed since beginning your health journey?
I can share one. I caffeine was an issue for me, but I I had all my kids take all the caffeine and put it downstairs in our downstairs kitchen. And it's a pain in the butt to run downstairs and get a caffeine drink when you are doing something else.
Yep.
And so, and I told them, don't go get me one, even if I ask you. So that's dumb and simple, but it has worked for me to
Yeah.
not, because it's out of sight, out of mind. And I think I wish I could do that with all of my pantry. Unfortunately, I have two that like to eat, not necessarily bad things, but things that I don't like to look at, but
Yeah.
fruit roll-ups, those kind of things. But yeah, so that's one thing that I did, and it helped.
That's good. Yeah, I love that. I think, the pantry purge is something we talk about, putting things up and away or hiding them, or having, a family member hide them so you don't know where they are. Like, I know that at first you might think to yourself, oh, I just have no, willpower, is what we like to say. But as we learn, no one's willpower works. Even the strongest person, right, can have issues with that. So I think that it's important to recognize that it's not your fault. Like, you are a human and this is how it works. So it's good to take those steps, to set yourself up for success. Greg, did you have something to share?
I do. One of the things that I've noticed that has changed a lot is whenever I go to the store, that I'm looking at labels a lot more than what I did. Before I liked, low fat yogurt, and try to find one that was lower in calorie. But now I'm actually looking at the amount of sugar that's involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm having to get rid of the ones that do have sugar in it and just keep the ones that don't.
Yep. I love that. A lot more mindful, of what you're buying, what you're putting in your body, which is a big shift, and that makes a big difference. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else?
Brittany, I had something I wanted to share.
shop.
Oh, Beverly Ann. Sorry, Beverly Ann, you go.
Yeah, I don't shop in the middle aisles in the supermarket anymore. I go for the vegetables and all of that. So I make a list, and I don't go beyond my list. Only what's on my list I get, nothing else.
Yep.
That's super helpful for the budget too.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I started doing like pickup, and it has saved me so much money, because I just like have my list and I get the things and put them in my cart, and I don't even like see anything else. So it's helpful. I would actually say grocery pickup is really helpful in the beginning if you are tempted by the snacky stuff. And when you're walking by it, you're just like grabbing, right? If you want to just try to pick up for a couple weeks, like sometimes it gets you out of that habit. Now, there is one downside to that, what Greg just said. You're not physically in the store able to read labels as well. But once you get used to like what brands are more clean and what options have least amount of sugar and all of that stuff, then it's kind of nice to do a pickup option if that's available in your area. Okay, great. Anything else? Oh, Katie, you said you wanted to share.
Yeah, I had a couple things about the grocery store, but one thing that's kind of funny is one of my clients one time, she said, I made it through the gauntlet of temptation, which was like, I don't know if it was the Halloween aisle or whatever, but I thought that was really funny.
That's funny.
But as far as environment, for me, it's been huge to be aware of my inputs, what I'm telling myself, all the self-talk. And I know we've talked about that before, but one thing around the grocery store, I remember seeing someone on social media that's like, I hate going to the grocery store. I just hate it. And I'm like, hey, we need to be aware of what's going on in the world, like how many resources we have here. Like, do you really hate it? Like, we could walk into the produce section and have all these options. So I remember from Atomic Habits, he talks about changing the phrase in your mind, I have to I get to. And so for me, I'll be honest, I haven't always loved going to the grocery store, and I love sending a text to my husband and just have him pick stuff up, because we're kind of in the country, and he works, in the city. And so he'll just pick things up at Costco or whatever. But just changing your mindset about, I get to go to the store, I get to pick out my food, and just like how much is available for us. Even if you compare like to history, like what they had to do as far as like planting their crops and all that, we literally just get to go to the store and choose what we want to eat. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think that should go for meal prep too, like cooking your food, because I don't really enjoy making meals, honestly, but I've been trying to be better about that. And I think that's something that I could work on implementing, is like, I get to make dinner for my family tonight in the least sarcastic way possible of saying that. But I like that. So thank you. I'm going to work on adopting that. So wonderful. I like this question, and it's going to lead us into just the challenge for the next week before we end the call. But it says, how do you know if you're truly committed to something? So this is something I think honestly is different for every person, because we all have different, like our personalities are different, right? Some people commit in different ways, but I think one of the best things is the accountability, and it really does work. And Katie and I have said this numerous times. It's not like we are magical creatures as coaches. All we do is hold you accountable. That's all we're doing, is we're just like bugging you to stick to the goals that you've set. And we're your cheerleader. When you do it, we have positive reinforcement and we say, good job, you're amazing. And so I want to just stress the importance of accountability. So if you are not like having good conversation and accountability check-ins with your coach, I want you to make sure that you implement that, or with your spouse, or with a friend, or whatever that needs to be. But I'm going to make you guys who are live on the call have just one simple thing that you want to be more committed to this week. And I want you to put it in the chat so that we all on here, all 6 of us, can help hold each other accountable. So what is something that maybe you've committed to in the past, but has slipped a little bit, or something that you want to implement as you are becoming your future self, right? Like, what is something that you want to implement in the next week? Okay, we're just doing a week. We're going to meet again on the 7th for a call. So in the next week, what is one thing that you want to be committed to? You want to commit 100%. You're going to tell us about it. You're going to have a plan. You're going to set up your environment for success. What is that one thing? I'm going to share you mine, because I've been working on this, but I could do better. I am not going to sleep with my phone by my bed. Okay, that is what I'm doing. I am working very hard to not look at my phone right before I go to bed, to not look at it right before I get up in the morning. I'm working on like my sleep habits, and that is one thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to sleep with my phone in the bathroom. Okay, so that's what I'm committing to, putting it here for the next week. Every single night, I will not sleep with my phone by my bed. Okay, that means when my alarm goes up, I have to walk out of bed and go turn it off. So it's a double whammy there. Okay, what do you guys have for me? Okay, Beverly Ann is going to do the evening check-in. Okay, so your coach, Katie, is going to look every night at your evening check-in and make sure you do that. That's a great goal. Love it.
Okay, I'll share.
Okay.
If someone else hasn't. I'm headed to Disneyland.
Yay!
So in the past, I've I've had sugar, and I've like proven to myself so many times over the years that I just don't feel great with sugar. I might have to have flour. I don't know what's going to be available. Like I might have a sandwich for lunch one day, but I am all in committed to no sugar this week, which is big. We're going to Disneyland.
That's big. That's big. Okay. Katie, no sugar. Priscilla, I'm committing to clean eating for the next 7 days. No sugar, no flour, vacation detox. Yes, love it. Okay, I will help hold you accountable to that, Priscilla. All right, Greg, talk with Katie about how much water I should be drinking each day and report. Nice.
Can we talk about that right now? Brittany's like the water expert, and I also wanted to get your feedback about electrolytes, because I think that's really important. But if Tori wants to share and anyone needs to hop off, that's fine, because we wanted to try and keep this to 30 minutes. But Greg, I want you to hang on so we can answer that question. But Tori, you're unmuted. So,
I'm unmuted. I'm too dumb to figure out how these people are.
I know. So share. That's our sign that we know you want to talk. You're unmuted.
Yeah, this is great.
Well, I think I was telling Katie, but my kids last night, we made a chart, and everybody has a 30-day chart of March that starts tomorrow, and we've got them hung up, and everybody has different goals for sports. And so we're kind of doing it together as a family. So for the next 7 days, I just want to get movement in for the next 7 days and make sure I don't skip that. That's been harder than I thought, because in my brain, I think I need to do like this whole entire workout. And I think I need to shift my thought process that way, that it just has to be movement. Like I just need to, even if it's just going outside and walking up and down my lane or something, if I don't have a full time constraint. And I think that would help me in a lot of areas if I could just bend a little bit more instead of feeling like it has to be like this perfect everything. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to be committed, and I'm going to send a picture to Katie of my board and my kids' boards, and I'll send a picture every day when I check it off on my little calendar.
Love it. Yeah, Tori, just movement. I mean, Priscilla's done like dance parties in her living room before for movement, right? Just moving.
And I do squatting while I cook.
Yeah, squatting while you cook. Perfect. Yeah, just movement in some way. It's just really getting in the habit, and like you said, not having it be all or nothing. Oh, if I can't do this hour-long workout, then I'm just not going to do anything. I think that it's good to have that flexibility. So great. Okay. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome to hop off, Greg. We'll chat water here in just